Oh crap. Now what? Keep watching and not only will I explain to you why leaf scorch happens, but more importantly, what you can do with your tree to help revive it. Leaf scorch in Japanese maples. Leaf scorch in Japanese maples is a common problem, especially in late spring or early summer. It can result from various environmental and physiological factors, and addressing the underlying cause is essential for protecting affected trees. Here's a look at the causes, symptoms, and revival techniques, including the role of defoliation. Transpiration. Transpiration in trees is the process where water absorbed by roots travels through the tree and evaporates from the leaf surfaces, creating a pull that helps draw more water up from the roots. If a tree cannot take up enough water, it can suffer from dehydration, leading to wilting, leaf scorch, reduced growth, and eventually, if severe, the tree may die. Symptoms of leaf scorch are browning and drying of leaf edges and tips. Leaves may curl and become crispy. Discoloration can spread inwards from the edges. Severe cases can cause premature leaf drop. How to avoid leaf scorch? Because leaf scorch is a result of tree dehydration, we can reduce the chances by placing the tree in a more shaded spot, or under shade cloth away from strong sunlight and winds. More frequent watering will ensure that the tree has sufficient water available for increased transpiration. But what do we do if our tree dries out? How can we save the tree? Defoliation. Defoliating a Japanese maple suffering from leaf scorch can be an effective technique to stimulate new leaf growth, but it should be done carefully to avoid further stressing the tree. With attentive care, the tree can recover and produce a fresh flush of healthy leaves. Defoliating Japanese maple bonsai trees is a horticultural technique used to encourage a second flush of smaller leaves and can help refine the tree's overall appearance. Biology behind defoliation. When a Japanese maple bonsai tree is defoliated, it triggers a hormonal response. The removal of leaves disrupts the production of auxins, or growth hormones produced in the leaves. This hormonal shift triggers the growth of buds at the base of the leaves and the development of new leaves. Photosynthesis. Leaves are essential for photosynthesis, the process by which plants convert light energy into chemical energy. By defoliating, you momentarily halt this process, but the tree compensates by producing new leaves that can resume photosynthesis more efficiently. Energy reserves. The tree uses its stored energy reserves to produce a new set of leaves. The second flush of leaves tend to be smaller because the energy reserves are typically lower than they were for the initial growth. Because of this use of stored energy, the process should only be done on otherwise healthy trees. Horticultural practice. Defoliation is usually performed in late spring to early summer, when the tree is actively growing and has enough time to recover before the onset of colder weather. Carefully cut off the leaves, leaving the petiole or leaf stalks intact. The petioles protect the buds, so fully removing them can potentially damage the leaf buds. The petioles will fall off naturally as new buds develop. Avoid defoliating the entire tree at once if it's not healthy or is not a vigorous grower. Partial defoliation is often recommended and far less demanding in the tree. Benefits. The second flush of leaves is typically smaller, which enhances the scale and proportion of the bonsai, making it look more refined and in line with the miniaturized aesthetic. Defoliation stimulates the growth of new buds, leading to increased branching or ramification. This results in a denser, more intricate canopy. The dangers of defoliation. Full defoliation of a bonsai tree is not without its risks. Defoliation is a stressful process for the tree. Over-defoliation or defoliating an unhealthy tree can lead to severe stress, weakening the tree and making it susceptible to diseases and pests. Producing a second set of leaves requires a significant amount of energy from the tree. If the tree's energy reserves are insufficient, it may not be able to produce a new set of leaves, leading to a decline or even death of the tree. Correct timing. The correct timing for defoliating your maples is absolutely crucial, and the ideal time is probably about the end of spring, beginning of summer. At this point, the tree has had the opportunity to recoup some of the energy they expended in that first flush of leaves, so it has some reserves available to provide the second flush. Also, you want to give the tree plenty of time to develop that second flush of foliage before the onset of autumn, when the leaves will fall, and that again allows the tree to recoup some energy before it goes into dormancy in winter. If the defoliation is performed too late in the growing season, the tree may not have enough time to recover and harden off before winter, which can result in damage or death. This can be quite a scary process, particularly the first time that you do it, but in this instance it's a necessary evil. And all I'm doing is coming in and I'm cutting through the petiole of these dried out leaves, and that will encourage a second flush of leaves to develop in the buds at the base of those petioles. And I'm just going to repeat this process throughout the whole tree. Where we've got the occasional fresh leaf that doesn't appear to have been affected by leaf scorch, I'm going to leave those in place. There's no value in cutting those away. Because these leaves are damaged, they're no longer photosynthesizing and providing energy back into the tree. So we're certainly not doing any further harm to the tree by removing them. What we are doing is we're expediting or speeding up the process of these falling off and new leaves developing to replace them. If I look into the tree here, I can see that I already have two new leaves which have emerged there and have that brilliant pink coloration to them. And I'm expecting that in about 3 to 4 weeks time the tree will be covered in similar small leaves. So at that point, I think that's as many of the leaves as I'm taking off. And it's quite a drastic change in look from how it was when it started. But obviously what we're hoping for is to promote this second flush of leaves in the next 3 to 4 weeks, and the tree will recover. All that remains now is to pop this tree into a suitably shaded spot where any emerging leaves will not suffer scorching.